it's Angela Yee, your host of a new show by Acorns, where we talk about untold money stories from some of the most inspiring people in the world. What's up? It's Angela Yee, and I'm excited to be here talking to you about finances. We want to normalize these conversations about money. There's a lot of things that I've learned on my own personal journey that I wish I would have known sooner, and some smart and strategic moves that I've made as well. As I'm getting more comfortable with talking about money, I want other people to do the same. So I'm excited to be joined today by Remy Ma. Hey, Remy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Angela. I'm so glad to be here. Talking about one of my favorite things.
Yes, we love money.
Very, very much so.
All right, Remy. So this is a great conversation because you've made a lot of business moves and investments. So I want to talk to you about your early experiences with money. What are some things that you recall?
Early experiences with money? I didn't have any money.
Right. I mean, that's an experience.
So that was probably like my most earliest experiences, not really having it and not having enough to do the things that you want to do, and realizing like what it takes to get a loan or what it takes to just save. It's hard to even save money when the way the economy is set up. It seems like it's set up so you make just enough to do the things that you need to do.
Right.
So in order to save, like the sacrifices that you have to make to save any little bit of money, I remember like, I wanted to get a car. And I was like, this is going to take forever.
Right.
Because just when I thought I had money, something else would happen. And like you start having to go into your savings. And then you go to somebody who's like, well, why don't you just get a loan? And I went to get a loan and they were like, oh, you don't have any credit.
Right.
Like I had nothing. Like I had no credit cards, no nothing. So I'm thinking I should be good. I don't owe anybody any money. I'm not in debt. And like sometimes having no credit is just as bad as having bad credit.
Sometimes worse.
Right, exactly. Because the way I found out very early on that the way that you build credit is by having like loans out. The more cards you have, the more like properties and mortgages, anything where you have a bill, like it helps.
As long as you're paying it.
Yeah, well, obviously,
right.
As long as you're paying it, but it never made sense to me. I'm like, the more bills I have, the less money I'm going to have to give to you. Just give me the money. After I started paying for things flat out, like I realized that I was actually saving money. So if you take out a loan and say you buy a car that's, I don't know, $20,000. By the time you finish paying off the loan, you didn't pay $40,000.
Right, double what the car was.
For this car. And it's now, by the time that's done, it's probably only worth about 5 to 10.
It's interesting because people have different views on that. I hate owing money.
Me
right?
too.
And so I'm the type of person that I will pay down my mortgage and get it over with as quickly as possible. But some people look at it like I would rather have that liquid in the bank and then be able to use that money for other things that could get me more interest. But that's a whole nother way of thinking. It really is, I feel like, whatever your relationship is, some people are confident in knowing, okay, I'm going to keep this money in the bank because I might invest it in something else that will yield me more of a return than if I were to just have put it all into something else. But
I get that thought process, but then I think you always need a place to live. You have to have somewhere to live.
Right.
Like, if you don't need a car, if you feel like one day you're not going to need a car, house, then okay, then that's what you do. Every property, every house I have, I own it, like flat out. Like, I've never had a mortgage in my life.
What is the first property you bought? Do you remember that?
My mom's house. The first property I bought my mom's house before I even bought my house. And I paid for it in cash. She didn't have a mortgage. And it felt great. It felt really good to not have that bill over your head. Like now, the only possible way that anything can happen, I guess you don't pay the taxes. And I think you probably have to do that for a really, really long time.
Like, we're going to take care of this.
Before, you are in jeopardy of losing your home. But that was my thing, like not having a bill. Like I know people that have lived in their houses 20 years and still don't own it.
Right, my parents.
And it's crazy because they teach us like this is how you build your credit and this is what you're supposed to do. But like I said, it's the same scenario that I gave. By the time you finish paying off this house, you could have bought a whole nother house.
Now, let me ask you this. What did your mom teach you about money growing up?
My mom didn't really teach me anything about money. Like, we grew up really, really poor. Like, I don't even think, like, it was just always, like, trying to figure out how we're going to get the next bill paid or how we're going to get, through the next holiday. It was never, like, an abundance of money or even a discussion. Like, when money came up, it was always, like, a hard conversation to have.
Right.
It was always like, something wrong with the money or what we needed scared or what had to be taken away because we couldn't afford it. And it's crazy because I have total different conversations with my kids. Like, I have a teenager and I have a baby. And I try to explain to my son how, you have to earn certain things and you have to prioritize what you're going to spend your money on because he thinks like, you got it, so why am I prioritizing?
You pay cash for everything.
Like, I don't understand. Like, the way he's like, send me an Uber. Like, one day I showed him the Uber bill and I'm like, you could have literally paid a down. No, he could have paid a monthly payment for like a Rolls Royce.
Wow, the amount of
with
Ubers.
The Ubers that he's taken. And he's like, I don't understand. What's the big deal? Okay, I'll tell you what. And I will give him 2 cards I found, I think in Target or somewhere, they sell Uber cards. You can get an Uber gift card. I started giving him $200 in Uber gift cards. Now, that's your Uber for the month.
Figure it out.
Let's see what happens. I'm going to go like 2 places. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
There's always public transportation.
Oh, man.
You can't be a picky pedestrian.
Now, did you stick to that, though, with the 200? Or did you end up being like, okay?
No, he started going to PAP and getting PAP to get him Ubers. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to teach somebody who doesn't physically earn money or have a job or income about money.
Right.
Because they don't understand the value of a dollar. If you're not working, like, I know every $1,000 I spend, every $10,000, I know what I had to do to get that. So you factor that in, like, hold on, this is gonna take me this. Like, I literally think of items that I want to get in projects. Like,
I did.
All right,
this.
I have to do this. This is that'll take care of that kitchen remodel I want to do. Like, I literally think in terms of that, so that I'm never really spending what I have already, and I'm able to put something, to the side. I had to learn that throughout the years because I remember I was like, I just want $1 million.
Listen, now you've been in the music business for over 20 years now. Do you remember when you realized that this was something that could be a career for you financially?
It took me some time to realize that. I'm gonna be totally honest. Like, I couldn't believe it. I never thought that I would be a musician that made money from doing music. It wasn't something that I saw as an option. It was like a hobby, something that I did for fun. When I realized, like, I could really make some real money doing it, I took it a little bit more serious, but it also stopped being fun. It stopped being like a hobby. Work. Now it's work. Now it's a job. You start learning the game and seeing the politics and different things that you have to do. I think when you have a job and this is how you make your money now, regardless of how fun it is and how whatever, like, there's always that sense of pressure.
Right.
When it's not a way that you use to make a living and to feed your family, it's a little bit more lighthearted. When you like, okay, my livelihood depends on this, you're going to move a little bit differently.
It has to work.
It has to.
Yeah, and that means that people have to be supporting you financially in order for it to work. It's not just a hobby.
It's not a hobby anymore at all, period. That's when you realize how important money is. Because, we hear these cliches, money isn't everything, money is the root of all evil. And I'm like, no, you kind of need money a lot. It's pretty important. It's pretty up there on the importance scale. You can't do anything without money.
And the number one reason that couples break up is financial. Like,
really?
When you start, it's not even like cheating or anything, it's finances. Because that puts a lot of stress on a relationship. And when people have different spending habits, when things aren't going well financially, just imagine how stressful that is.
Right.
When you have to come home and it just really escalates those issues.
I think sometimes people think that it'd be easier when you're in a relationship because now it's 2 of us.
Right.
But exactly what you just said, I feel sometimes is the issue because people are two different people. You may be a saver. I may be a spender. You may be like Pat tells me all the time. He's like, "You're so cheap. We're not poor. You're so cheap."
I wouldn't think that you were cheap.
I promise you. I don't think I'm cheap neither. He says I'm cheap. He's like, "You're so cheap. We're not poor. Why are you doing this?" And I'm just like, I don't ever want to be poor again. Like, I've been poor. It's not fun.
Right.
Like, it's the worst thing is being famous and poor. Oh my God.
And I do feel like a lot of things I do is out of the fear of losing everything. Like, that's always in my head. No matter how well I do and how many investments I have, I always have this fear, like, one day it could all be gone.
No,
somehow.
because it could. It could. Like, a lot of times, I think people get too comfortable. I would not be able to live with myself, especially knowing like how much money that I made and what I had access to. Like, what did you really do? And it comes a lot with the choices that you make. If you live like, oh, this is what it's always going to be, you have to prepare for your inflow not being what it is today. And I don't think people ever really prepare for that. When it's coming in, they just like, oh, it's coming in, let's go. Like, I'm like, when it's coming in, I think when it's coming in, that's when I really start saving up. Like, hold on, it's coming in.
Now, so now when it comes to, you talk about saving, now what about investing?
I am very cautious about investments. I don't like risky investments.
Right.
I don't like investments where like it's not a sure thing because that's why I don't gamble. Like, people go to casinos. That is not fun to me. Casinos is not fun to me. I'll go in with $100.
If that's gone,
and when it's gone, that's it. Sorry. If I win 100 and I'll bet 100, that 100 goes back in my pocket,
and then you have 100 to play with.
That's it. Like, I don't like to gamble. It's not fun to me. It gives me bad anxiety. And when it is your own money, you care more.
Right.
Because it's yours. It's not, something from a bank or something from some partner. It's your hard-earned money. And I think a lot of times with people, too, when they invest in things, everybody wants a quick return. Mm-hmm. I can't think off the top of my head what the statistics are on that, but it takes a little time before you see money back. After you put money in, you're probably going to lose money.
Yeah, you might not ever see money back.
You might not ever see it back, but 9 times you're probably going to lose money before you start getting money. Very rarely do I hear people, they put in something and it just blew up overnight and everything was a success. So I'm one of those, I'm like, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to try one more time. Like, right now, I'm doing a project.
Chrome 23.
Chrome 23, and I love it. It's a female battle rap league, and I've invested all my own money. I'm like about a quarter in. About a quarter in.
Now, as a person who doesn't gamble or like things that are risky, what made you say, okay, even though I don't normally take risks, this is one I'm willing to take?
Because I saw a lot of me in these women. I felt like, if I wasn't fortunate enough to have some of the situations that I had and the success in my career that I had, I could have easily been one of these girls that know how to rap really good, can write really good, have a family at home, and I can't make money off of my talent any other way. And I would want somebody like myself who may have the means or the resources or, the connections, the relationships to help me help myself. And a lot of them, when I talk to them, they don't know business. So not only am I investing into their careers as far as, battle rappers and whatever they may try to do with it, like I'm teaching them about taxes and I'm teaching them about, ways to save their money. Like, okay, put this part aside, take a smaller front end so that in the back end you have a larger lump sum that you can actually do something with.
Right.
A lot of times people want, I want half now and I want half later. When you do that, as opposed to taking 20% now and the 80 in the end, you'll feel more of, a return for your money. Even though it's the exact same amount, to me, I feel like if you're getting $50,000 and you get 25 now and 25 later, as opposed to 10 now and 40 later,
right?
Like that lump sum of 40, you could just move a little bit more. It gives you more options for your lump sum because by the time you get the other 25, the first be gone.
That's true because sometimes I get paid for stuff in advance, and by the time I do it, I feel like I just did it for free.
You're like, why do I feel like I didn't get paid?
Yeah,
why
that's how you feel
because
you done spent the money.
You've spent it before you did the work. And these are some of the things like, I tried that people never told me. Mm-hmm. People never told me, like I had to learn the hard way about taxes and W-9s and
taxes are not fun.
It's not only are they not fun, they are something that no one ever tells you about. Like no one ever says like, hey, because especially when you're in the entertainment business, it's not like a regular job or normal job
But you get money back.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are so excited to file their taxes
because you
that
get
they're
money
getting a
back. This is
return.
totally, you're just giving money. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh,
I'll wait to the last minute.
oh my God, they come in again. Like, well, so what I do now, like I just don't even count it from the beginning. If I have $5,000, I have $3,000. Don't even put it in my account. Separate it literally from the beginning. Put it inside, like it's not even mine. It doesn't even exist. Those just little things like that will come back to haunt you. And even being, and that those things help me save money too. Like when I want to make a big purchase for something, or like I have an investment like this, I'll be like, okay, every check I get, I'm going to put my 20-30% aside for taxes, and I'm going to split the other half down with whatever I'm trying to save for, and then the rest goes into my account. But I feel like when you set a goal for what you're trying to do, it's easier because sometimes we'll just be like, all right, this is something that I want, but you don't physically, like you have to literally be like, all right, this is what this is going to be for, and I'm not touching it.
And it feels good to sacrifice when you have a goal.
Yeah, when you have a goal, but sometimes you have to literally tell yourself, I'm not touching it. I don't care if the sky is falling. I'm not, because it sets you back. I used to do that. I used to set goals, and then I'd be like, oh, this party's coming, and I need a new outfit. Then the party's over, and the outfit is worn.
And I spent all this money. I can't wear it again.
And now I'm just sitting there looking stupid back at square one, like, I could have almost had it. So,
do you remember your first big check?
My first big check was for about $110,000 or $120,000.
That's a lot.
But I ended up with about 60
taxes,
and then I gave money to people that I felt like helped me or deserved it or whatever. So also because it felt like I was young, I was a teenager. I was like, $120,000, you get 10,000, you get 10,000, and I'm like, wait, what? How much on taxes? I didn't even spend it yet. Like, I was so confused. Like, when I tell you, I kept asking, I was like, so let me get this straight. As soon as I get this, I have to give some of it away. That, like, in my brain, you think certain numbers are a lot of money.
Right.
And it's not. It's just because you've never obtained it. I remember being young, like, yo, if I had $20,000.
That would be.
I need $1 million. You'd be like, you know what?
That's not going to do anything for me.
Anybody have Jeff Bezos' number?
I need help.
This is crazy.
When I first started doing radio, I remember getting booked early on for things and being so excited to get, like, they paid me $250 to come to, like, I remember being excited to get $250.
Yeah, you'd be like, I ain't even doing nothing. They gave me $250.
I just gotta sit here and drink a bottle and hang out. And then I remember my price went up to like $500. Then it was $1,000. Then it was, I'm not leaving the house for less than $2,000. And then it just kept going up. Right. And it's just crazy how at first $250 was so much to me. I could not believe that I was getting paid that.
Yeah, just because in your mind you're like, I've done way more for less. So when you start realizing like that goes with the, work smarter, not harder. Like when people start, it's like, what does that even mean? Work smarter, not hard. That's dumb. But I totally get it now. You want to try to do, obviously you want to do a good job, but you want to do it the most efficient way so that you could, at the end, you could have more of worth.
Right.
And sometimes I think that comes with knowledge as well. Some people jump into something and they'll be like, oh, I want to remodel. I want to flip houses. Don't know what they doing. Never did it before.
Then you end up hiring 8 different contractors to fix what the contractor before did wrong. And now you're paying.
You end up spending so much more than you actually. So definitely, if you're investing in anything, or you have to do your research.
Now, what was your first big purchase?
I want to say is my car.
Okay.
I remember when I paid off my car because I had a car note. Somebody got the car from me. My first car, someone bought it for me. But I'm thinking, oh, they bought me a car.
Nope.
I didn't know that it was like a lease. Like after a certain couple, like it was like a 2-year lease. And 2 years coming, I'm like, wait, y'all want me to do what? Y'all not, it's my car. You're not like, I was so confused. Like, I had so many moments of confusion in my childhood growing up. I was like, so you want me to give it back? Like, and then what? Like, who wants it? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I ended up doing a finance, and that was in my name. And that bill used to get on my last nerve.
Every
Like when I
month.
tell you I'm like you. I do not
I hate
like to
owing
owe money.
money.
I was just one day, I was just like, how much? How much is it for you? Go away. Because I would always be late with it. Because I had it for 2 years, never had to think about this bill. And now like every month they're, hey, we're calling again, your payment. I'm like, I can't take it. Just tell me what's the number. And when I paid my car, like I felt so good. Like
I do always lease.
I don't lease. I purchase all
I
my
only
cars.
lease cars, but that's because I like to get a new
Because
one
you like
and
to
it
change your
decreases in
cars.
value the same amount as if I would have bought it.
But well, what I do is I buy the car, and then when I want to change it, I
You trade
sell
it
it,
in.
and you're getting the same thing. You're getting probably more though.
You know, it's interesting to me that you talk about not wanting to take these risks but you are taking risks, right? When it
What
comes
risk?
Chrome 23, no matter what, that is still, but
That
it's
is
just,
that
but
is
it
a
is,
risk.
that's a huge risk, but it's also something that you love and care about.
I
That's
care about it. I love it. If I mapped it out, if everything goes according to the way I mapped it out, I literally, by the end of the year, I will make my money back that I put in. Like
okay.
my first event, I could have easily took on sponsors. I could have sold tickets at the door and made money back there. I could have put it on pay-per-view. So I want as many people as possible to tune in and watch it. And I feel like people tend to be more into something when they feel like they don't have to do much. If you have to download an app,
Right.
or if you have to go somewhere, and any extra step that somebody might have to take, you're losing a potential.
I just want to swipe up or click on the link.
Exactly. That's me. So
Yeah.
I want that for people. So my first one, I knew I was gonna lose money. I'm like, but this is so that people can see. I believe so wholeheartedly in my product that when people see it, like when comes my next event, they're not gonna have a problem wanting to make sure that they download something, an app that they might have to, or paying at the door, or paying the pay-per-views to see it because they so thoroughly enjoyed it when it was for free. Like, I don't want to miss this.
So this is an investment in the marketing of your project,
Yes.
so that afterwards you've proven something, a certain amount of value. Now you can ask for even more than you would have gotten if you would have locked it in earlier. All right. And I also noticed that you said it's not like glam, it's none of that for the women, and it's just straight up bars. And that's what we're focused on. And I was thinking about how a lot of times labels would say, oh, women are too expensive
Oh, absolutely.
to invest in. What's your experience been like?
Well, be clear, it's not about that, but they are going to be in full glam. I have a whole team. I have a hair team. I have a makeup team. I'm doing like all the styling. Like I want them to look the best that they can. But I went through that as an artist. Oh, women, you're expensive, you're this. That's because if they call one of my male counterparts, all they're going to do is they could throw on a white tee, their jewelry, and get a $20 shape up and they're good. Women, we need our hair done. We need our makeup done. We need shoes. We need this. Like, it's not just an easy throw together situation. As a woman, I know that.
Right.
So when I was budgeting, I factored these things in. If you go into it with the mind state of normally with artists, it costs me this much for them to prepare, and you're used to dealing with someone who doesn't require a hairstylist, a makeup artist, a clothing stylist, pulling clothes, whatever it may be that it takes to get this artist at the point that you need them to be. Yeah, when those expenses come in, you're gonna be like, this is expensive. This is crazy. But I budgeted for all of that. So I'm totally aware of it. I'm accounting for it. And moving forward, I hope that I'm able to get people that are in hair and we'll do an exchange. I get hair, I get whatever products, and you get the promotion that you need for your products. The same thing with makeup. I've never seen anybody make money off of putting in nothing.
Right. I agree with that.
Like, you have to put in something.
You can't ask people for money and you haven't invested in yourself, too.
You can't. How can I ask people to come and pay $150 and they're going to come in and it's raggedy, there's nothing to drink, it's no food, it's no chairs. It's just like, wait, hold on, what am I paying for here? But if you have an experience that people enjoy, and that people pay for experiences, people pay for a good time, people pay for their happiness and for moments of fun and joy. So this is what you create.
Now, we talked about how Papoose said that you're cheap. I want to ask you, before you got married, what kind of conversation did you have about money?
We never talked about money ever. Like, it's so crazy because, I don't know, it's just, he doesn't care about money. Like, he will tell you to just like, I don't care. Like, we'll get a new car And I'd be like, babe, wait, don't put that in. He'd be like, it's just a car. I'd be like,
Wait, so you guys didn't talk about like credit or
nothing.
no financial goals? Do you think that
Nothing.
looking back you should have? I mean, it's working out fine for you.
I mean, yeah, we're doing great, but if things was different, if we had like a bad situation, yeah, I could probably be like, yo, why didn't I ask? But or I could see how that could be a problem. But I have friends and I have family members, and I see how that can become a problem when one person earns more money than the other person, or one person is paying more bills than the other person.
What about your daughter? Do you guys have goals for her when it comes to finances? And because you didn't grow up having those conversations and the two of you haven't had them, are you thinking like, I want to make sure that she...
Oh, well, we talk about money a lot now.
Okay.
Money is like a very like topic within our house. Like, because when I set these goals, like, hey, I want a new house. Obviously, I have to talk about it with my husband. Like, these are things, or I want to get another car. Or he's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a bike, or I want to do the kitchen over, I want to do the bathroom over. So these are things that we talk about a lot, things that I would have never discussed with anyway, because I would have just did it. I make my own decision. As far as my daughter, poor thing doesn't have a clue. Like, we literally walk through the store and she's just like, shh, in the car.
Take it.
Like, it's so funny because my husband tells me, he's like, God, that's what you look like to her. She literally just throws whatever in the car. She doesn't look at the price. She doesn't care. And I'll be like, she'll say something. She loves pockets, and she's like, I have no money in my pockets. I need money. I'm like, where you gonna get money? She's like, you got money.
Oh.
Give me money in my pocket. I'm like, no, you have to do something for me. She's like, okay, what I gotta do? Like, I teach her now, like, even if it's the little thing, she has like this little fake grocery store. And it has a cash register and it has a credit card slot and has money. And it's so cute because you go in her store and I don't care what you buy, whether it's an apple or it's a little fake canned good, it's $1 million. You be like, how much? She's like, $1 million. That's right, baby. Overcharged for everything. But I try to teach her that because I had my son when I was really young. I was a teenager, and it was just like, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, because I didn't have it.
Right.
And I realized the type of monster that can create because they have no sense of earning. They have no sense of, value for things, because it's just like, okay, I broke my phone, I lost my phone, give me another one.
Now, you've spoken recently on balancing motherhood with your own career, and you are a businesswoman. And I know that there's times that you do things that I can tell that you just love doing it because you're great at hosting on television. You really are.
Thank you.
And, we've seen you on Revolt. We've seen you on The Real. We've seen you and Fat Joe filling in for Wendy Williams. And I feel like there's certain things that it's not about the money when it comes to you.
There are things like that, like where I would normally get paid. I'd be like, I just want to do it because it's fun, or it's just so I can have it on my resume, or just so people, because sometimes I know, like when I did State of the Culture or Revolt, people who know me, personally know me, they know how I talk and they know my different viewpoints on things. So that's why I was called as someone to come onto the show. But for people who were viewers and don't really know Remy Ma in that aspect, it was more of a like, well, she's a rapper. Like, why are we listening to her? So I took a pay cut so that I could do it because I wanted to show, okay, this is what happens when I'm in this setting. And that changed my career because moving forward,
it did.
Now you see what I'm worth. And I think sometimes people short themselves like that. Like, they're like, well, I should be getting paid more and I should be getting this. And it's not always about the immediate payment right there. Mostly everything that has ever been life-changing and altering in my career, I did for free.
Right. Oh, wow.
No, seriously. Almost every single time. When I did...
That's a great lesson.
When Lean Back came out, I didn't even have a record deal.
Wow.
Like, we were in Florida, we were in Miami, we were at Khaled's house working on the Terrace Y album, and Fat Joe was the only one on the record. And he had 3 verses on it. And I was in the studio, and I was like, let me hear what Joe was in here doing last night. And the song comes, I'm like...
I'm on
it. What? Hold on. The engineer, I took all the weed that I had. Like, listen here, this is all I got. Take him off of the second verse and let me put mine in. And if he loves it, it stays. If he doesn't, put the other one back. After that was what happened with Lean Back. If I never did probably another record in my life, I would be good off of my royalties from Lean Back.
Okay, Remy, so we had a great conversation. So now I want to do some rapid fire with you. So this is just first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
What was the first concert you ever got tickets to?
A Prince concert.
Ooh, my favorite.
It was a Prince concert. My mom took us.
Is there an artist that you would collaborate with right now for free?
Kanye.
Okay. All right. You ain't gotta lie. You could be on that down to 2. Well,
He's a Gemini
down to
like
3.
me.
Okay, and what did you spend your last big check on?
My new female battle rap league.
That's damn right. Now, what is the best money move you've ever made?
To me, purchasing properties. Like purchasing them. Not getting mortgages, not getting loans. Purchasing them.
And what is the best money advice you've ever received?
Pretty much hang with people, other people that have money.
And what is the worst money advice you ever received?
Oh, don't pay your taxes.
Ooh!
You don't have to pay it. Wait till they come for you.
Who told you that is terrible advice? You are right. That is the worst money advice.
That's probably the worst advice. Like, what are your taxes? They only come when you owe them a lot. Really.
What is your favorite thing to spend money on?
Shoes.
Okay, I see it.
Shoes. I have a real bad shoe problem. Growing up, I probably had like 6 outfits all together. Like
Right.
6 pairs of pants, 6 shirts that I mixed in. And it was like, that's what it is. Like normal people have a certain amount of jeans, a certain amount of shirts, and they go through. Only celebrities have 1,000 pairs of shoes, 1,000 zipper jacks. Like, if I like it, I want to wear it. Like, I bought it because I liked it. I should not be able to wear these pants again because I wore them today. I like them. And when I want to wear them again, I'm going to wear them again. If you don't want me to wear them again, I'll find the price tag and you can buy me a new pair.
There you go.
I'm wearing my clothes again.
And what is your least favorite thing to spend money on?
I really, really hate utility bills.
Ooh.
I feel like they should be free.
Why?
Because we need electricity, we need water, we
Don't you
need
think people would just
heat.
leave their stuff on all the time
Like,
then?
I hate, like, I'm not gonna lie, they stay on in my house a lot because I have, like, my kid and Pap does it all the time. Like, I just walk through, like, just, like,
I turn everything off.
swiping lights and switches like that. But
I turn the heat down when I leave the house.
Every time I have to pay it, I be sitting here like, why isn't heat free? Like, people cannot, so people gonna
Right.
freeze to death? You're
No,
gonna let people
absolutely
freeze to
not.
death and be cold. Like, I'm paying taxes. That should include my heat.
Now, what would be your money advice to 20-year-old Remy?
Stop buying clothes. I bought and spent so much money on clothes, and it's like the dumbest thing. Like, but I would never spend that much money on clothes, and I would definitely save. I learned when I had to go away, I had a lot of things that I didn't own.
Right.
There was nobody who could maintain those bills with me gone. Eventually, everything was gone. All I had was a bunch of clothes that wasn't worth anything.
Right.
So after that, I was like, never again.
And last but not least, what would be your best money advice to somebody who is on their come up?
I would tell people, like, to some of the things that you really always wanted, do it. There's also a possibility that you may not never be in that position again. So you want to be able to live that life. If you're making enough to where you can save and invest or whatever, great, wonderful. But you also want to live and be able to
Treat yourself.
enjoy what we work hard for. A lot of times, like, people scare us into not doing anything because you're like, I don't want to be, God forbid, the next MC Hammer. I don't want to be him. Like, that's like the story that they scare musicians with. Look what happened with MC Hammer. So you're like, all right, I'm not doing anything. If you can, try to save a little bit.
At least you could say you lived a life.
Yeah. Bad advice. I know it's bad. I know it's bad.
Okay, well, Remy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. This was
I
a great
enjoyed
conversation. I'm Angela Yee, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, @Acorns, and let me know who you'd like me to talk to next about one of my favorite topics, money. All right, now let's get to the business. Listen up. These conversations do not reflect the views of Acorns. The material is only informational. It's not investment advice. It's not a recommendation, an offer, or sale of securities. Remember that investing involves risk, which includes the loss of principal. We always tell you that. Investment advisory services offered by Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorns Securities, LLC, an SEC-registered broker-dealer and member at FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com.